What if, one morning, the US and Russia unexpectedly merged into a single superpower? The world's political, economic, and military balance would be shaken to its core. These two historic rivals, America and Russia, joining forces would be a game changer. But what would this new superpower mean for the rest of the world? Would it bring stability? Or would it spiral into global chaos? Chapter 1. The world shakes. The unthinkable happens. In a shocking move, the US and Russia announced they are merging into one superpower. How did this happen? It all begins in the shadows, where top leaders from both nations meet to discuss survival in an increasingly unstable world. The decision to unite comes after both countries face economic struggles and political crises that threaten their survival. By merging their resources, military, and political systems, they believe they can secure their place at the top. But this isn't just a merger of economies, it's a radical reshaping of the global order. While some celebrate the union, others are left in disbelief. Citizens from both nations are confused and uneasy. The US, known for its democracy and freedoms, and Russia, with its strong authoritarian traditions, now have to merge their governments. It's a move that could redefine global power dynamics, but will it really work? Chapter 2. The Political Shift. Global Power. Rewritten. The merger between the US and Russia isn't just about combining forces, it's about rewriting the rules of global politics. This new superpower isn't just an economic powerhouse, it's also a political juggernaut that challenges everything we thought we knew about governance. A new hybrid government emerges, combining the US's democratic principles with Russia's centralized power structure. The question remains, how will this government function, and who will control it? While the US pushes for democratic reforms, Russia's oligarchic influence threatens to dominate. This power struggle creates a fragile government, where decisions are made in backrooms and the lines between democracy and dictatorship blur. The world watches closely as the new superpower shifts international alliances. NATO's influence wanes, and countries are forced to reassess their relationships. Former allies find themselves torn. Do they stick with the US or follow the rising tide of this new force? The question of global leadership now hangs in the balance, and the new superpower must prove it can balance both ideologies without breaking apart. Chapter 3. Economic Superiority. A new global currency. When the US and Russia merge, the economic implications are immediate and overwhelming. The world's largest economy is born, combining the massive wealth of Russia's natural resources with the technological innovation and financial power of the US. This new superpower has the resources to dominate global trade and reshape markets. The creation of a new currency, the Union ruble, soon replaces the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. This drastic change forces the global financial system to its knees. Countries that once relied on the stability of the dollar now face uncertainty as the new currency takes hold. Global markets must quickly adapt to this seismic shift, or risk falling behind. For emerging economies, the rise of the Union ruble could offer both opportunities and challenges. With the combined economic might of the US and Russia, what happens to smaller nations dependent on foreign aid or trade? Will they benefit from the new superpower's wealth, or will they be left behind in the wake of this massive change? Chapter 4. Military Dominance. A United Front. Perhaps the most alarming change comes in the form of military power. The US and Russia, with their combined nuclear arsenals and advanced weaponry, create a military force unlike anything the world has ever seen. This new superpower's military strength gives it the power to control international politics and security. But how will they manage this vast military machine? The US's established command structure must merge with Russia's more centralized approach, and the result is a powerful but unpredictable military force. Will the new government be able to maintain control of this mighty machine? Or will internal conflicts cause instability? The size and power of the combined military force raise serious concerns for global security. Smaller nations and regional powers now face the reality of living under the shadow of this new superpower. Do they submit to the will of this new global order, or do they challenge its dominance? The world now knows that any conflict involving this new superpower would be catastrophic, making war a dangerous gamble for all. Chapter 5. The People. Unity or rebellion? While the political and economic changes are significant, the real challenge lies in how the people of the US and Russia will react to this union. Can two nations with such vastly different ideologies and histories really coexist under one banner? For many Americans, the fear of losing their democratic freedoms is overwhelming. For Russians, the fear of being absorbed into a Western-dominated system is just as real. Protests and civil unrest break out almost immediately. While some see this union as a fresh start, others fear it's the death of their national identity. In the US, there are concerns about increasing government surveillance, authoritarian control, and a loss of individual rights. In Russia, there's fear that the ideals of democracy will water down their government, eroding the power of the state. This tension spills into the streets with massive demonstrations erupting on both sides. The question now becomes, will this new superpower hold together, or will it collapse under the weight of its internal divisions? Could these protests escalate into a civil war, or will the people ultimately accept this new order? The future uncertain. Unity or collapse? With such a massive transformation of global power, the future of this superpower remains uncertain. On one hand, the merging of the US and Russia offers unparalleled potential for economic growth, military power, and political influence. On the other hand, the deep ideological divides between the two nations could tear the union apart from within. The new superpower is walking a razor's edge, trying to balance democracy and authoritarianism, wealth and equality, freedom and control. The world holds its breath, waiting to see whether this union will survive or collapse under the pressure of its internal contradictions. What do you think? Could this bold new superpower survive? Or would it unravel as a result of its deep internal conflicts? What would the global impact be if this unification really happened? Share your thoughts below, and let's explore this possibility together.